So one thing I forgot to show off before we get started with the servant stuff is Sin has a 100% combo when he has Exciter on. It's very hard to hit, but it is possible, and I'll show you right now. As you can see, it does 509 damage. That will kill any single master in the game, but as you can see, you have to hit a Fray 8X, and you also have to have Exciter on, and it also uses like half your tension. So, anyway, let's talk about Sin's servants. Let's go to the Master Ghost and let's discuss. All right, so Sin's servants. He shares the same servants as Kai. He has the strongest normal servants in the game, but at the expense of them having a very high cost. The biggest one is that swordsman's cost 225 as opposed to the normal 210. So, yeah, that's pretty expensive. Gauntlet bodies have the same price as most of the normal armors at 420, but his mobiles cost 360, but his mobiles are also very strong. What's also interesting about this is that his Gauntlet bodies and Springbox are the only junior servants in the game that do not cost 100 mana upkeep. They I'm sorry, 10 mana upkeep. They cost 20 mana upkeep. So just to bear that in mind. He also has access to a magic unit, which is never used, and a very competent ranged unit. His elites are okay. Convict Hammer is one of the probably the second strongest elite armor in the game. Quadro Bailiff is actually a really, really good support unit, and Heaven's Libra is also a very good support unit. But do you realize the problem with his elites right now? They're all countered by mobiles. Not a very good thing. So if you do go against the Sin, and you do so happen to be playing as Izuna, and he's summoning elites, you spam the crap out of the cats. There's very little he can do at that point. But yeah, Heaven's Libra is very strong. Quadro Bailiff is pretty good. Is pretty strong. Is also pretty cheap as well for an elite. And Convict Hammer is also very good. So let's look at Swordsman real quick.
Okay.
So here they are. They have normal walk speed, and they have, I believe, 3 major versions of attacking. Let's see. So there's that attack. They have their skill, which is this thrust attack, which, as you can see, does a lot to a ghost. And they also have their they have like a jump slash attack thing, which they do from time to time. But yeah. Oh wait, let me delete them. Alright, Gauntlet bodies. Are these big behemoths, as you probably already know? These guys. They're freaking huge. I mean, they also, they have the same walk speed as other armor servants, but they do have the most HP. And they have a couple of different attacks. That's their main attack, but their skill is basically an attack that launches enemies up into the air. Let's see if he'll do it. I doubt he will, though. I don't think they do it against ghosts, but I could be wrong. Nah, that's not what they do. But yeah, that's his skill for that. Also, he's an armor unit, so he's got super armor on a lot of his attacks and stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't know what that noise is. That's weird. Alright, Springbox. Alright, these guys are mobiles, and they're extremely strong because of their skill, which I will show you if I bring up the soul over here. Watch what they'll do. Bring a little closer so you attack them. So here's a couple of their attacks. He has a thrust attack. He also has this like dash attack that he does sometimes. People do it like that, which is pretty cool. And these guys also have a really strong skill, which I don't think works on masters. but it basically decreases the armor of servants, and they'll use it primarily on armor servants, so it's ridiculously strong. Very, very good unit.
Okay.
Springboks are probably the best armor mobile unit in the game. Alright. Wise men.
Okay.
Summon these guys. They have a couple of buffs and stuff, and they also have some, like, weird magical attack thing. You're never gonna see. Twin Triggers, on the other hand, are very strong ranged units, but they're also very expensive. I'm gonna show these guys off. They're really fun. So Twin Triggers have a normal ranged attack, but they also have this really powerful triple shot attack, like this, which, as you can see, does a lot of damage to Ghost, and also knocks enemies away, and also does a lot of damage. It also has a pretty fast cooldown. I think it's like 10-second cooldown or something ridiculous like that, so they're pretty fun to use sometimes. Now let's look at his elites.
Okay.
This beast right here is called Convict Hammer, and yeah, what makes him kind of interesting is that he shares the same attributes as Charlotte. By that I mean he can be knocked up into the air, he can be knocked down and all that stuff, but he moves very, like his attacks, he has like dash attacks and stuff. He launches enemies into the air like gauntlet bodies, and as you can see, his main attribute is that he increases the attack power of all the allies around him, which is ridiculous.
Okay.
Now we're going to look at Quadro Bailiff, which, even though he's a ranged unit, he's actually a ranged melee hybrid. He actually has two modes. He has a ranged mode and a melee mode. He's got like a charged attack, he's got a ranged attack which does decent damage, and he's also pretty mobile as well. So let's show him off against Soul here. So he's in melee mode right now, as you can see. Now he's in ranged mode, and he attacks people at far. Now he's in melee mode again, and he moves. So he switches modes back and forth, but he is primarily a ranged unit, so he has all the attributes of a ranged unit, which means he's weak against mobiles and, yeah, and armor units. Now, Heaven's Libra.
Okay.
Is a very strong unit indeed. So Heaven's Libra is a support magic unit that has some wide-ranged magic attacks that, like, I think knock enemies in the air. But his most interesting feature is his rod, which he can use. I don't think he'll use against Soul, but he uses some of his attacks, which knock enemies up in the air. There he goes. Is this thing, which is a debuff zone, as you can see, that decreases the defense and armor of all enemies in the zone. But as it is a rod, it can be dispelled, which I can't do right now because I can't have it reset. So it can be dispelled. But yeah, it's pretty damn strong.
Okay.
Alright, so let's talk about strategies now.
Okay.
I'm actually going to go to exhibition mode here so I can talk about strategies.
Select your alter ego.
Stay all Belcanto because that's the map we were on anyway. Alright.
There's a battle to be won. Round 1. Let's rock.
Forgot organ weight. Hold on. I forgot organ weight. Give me a second.
Select your alter ego.
Alright, let's try it again. So, Sin is an interesting character when it comes to servant management because of
There's a
his
battle
servants
to
being
be
so
won.
strong.
Round 1. Let's rock.
He'll very rarely have problems when it comes to his servants having difficulty fighting against servants. The only difficulty I think his servants will have is if they're facing against Kappas because the counters are annoying, and if they're facing against Candies, they can have a real problem. So, Sin can start off with 3 groups of melee servants like every other person can in the game, but his third call is going to be delayed because they cost extra mana. So usually what's going to happen is you're going to summon 2 swordsmen like this, and then you're going to have to wait for the third one. So you're going to do your start by resummoning your servants at the positions and then calling in your third swordsman. This is one of his main detriments, is except on Illyria 1 and certain maps where we do a 2 start, his third swordsman unit will be delayed by probably a second, maybe 2 seconds. So that can be a huge problem. Maybe even 3 seconds. Now, in terms of unlocking order, so you generally want to try to get Gauntlet Bodies and Springbox unlocked by the end of round 1. Depending on how your opponent is playing. So, for example, if you're playing against an Izuna, you're going to want to buy Springbox. If you're playing against Soul, and especially if you're playing against Valentine, you want to go for armors. Valentine has an interesting time against Sin because, my god, do those P Black Mages really hurt Sin. So that's something to keep an eye on. You normally won't unlock Twin Triggers and Wise Men. And in terms of your elites, you usually want to unlock either Quadro Bailiff or Heaven's Libra first. Quadro Bailiff is good against Valentine, very good against Valentine, good against Soul in some situations, and yeah. Heaven's Libra is good against a Sin player, it's good against anyone who's using armors, right? And then Convict Hammer is kind of your last endgame pushing effort. But if you have such a big lead that you want to rush Convict Hammer, go for it. In terms of what you should be going for in general, you're gonna want to summon a lot of swordsmen, just like anyone else, for map control. So if you need reinforcements fast and you need to dominate map control, go for swordsmen. If you have the advantage, or if you're going up against a Valentine, go for or even a Soul, go for Gauntlet Bodies. And if you're going against anybody else, you want to go for Springbox very quickly. So that's generally how it works. So let's show you what a typical start with Sin looks like here.
Okay. Okay.
I know. For all the veterans that are yelling at me for my things, this isn't showing off a skill. It's kind of just showing off what a typical start of Sin looks like. So as you can see, I now have enough mana to summon my third swordsman unit, but they're now delayed. Whereas anybody else at this point would automatically be summoning their third unit, so that's a problem.
Okay.
So now, once your placements are done, you can now summon your third, and this is the problem. Now, if you start as a 2-start or a 1-start, you can summon them on time. So, for example, if I go on Ganymede here, I will show you that since on Ganymede, I usually start with a 2-start, not always, but I usually start with a 2-start, you can summon your third swordsman unit without any problems.
There's a battle to be won round 1. Let's rock.
Okay.
I know. I keep forgetting it. It's just force of habit. Just force of habit. See, now I can do that. But yeah. Alright, so I guess we'll talk about matchups real quick.
Select your alter ego.
So against Soul, basically the same way you play against the Soul player, you just try to prevent him from rushing as much as you can and use your servants to your advantage, because they will destroy drills. Against a Sin, it's going to be an interesting little poking game, so watch out for that. Against an Izuna, Sin is probably the best character when it comes to taking out Kappas, so use that to your advantage. Also, watch out for the inevitable Goblin Rush. Or whatever, the Namahage Rush. Paradigm. I don't have much against the Paradigm matchup with Sin, but just try to avoid rushes, I guess. Against the Valentine, you're going to have to fight candies a lot, use Gauntlet Bodies, and also watch out for Blank Mages, because Sin has a very hard time escaping. Against the Kai, watch out for his elbow. Know that you're going to have the same matchups in terms of servants, and also watch out for Ride the Lightning. And against the Raven, pretty much the same as Valentine, really, except Raven's going to rush you the fuck down, so make sure you're prepared for that. Alright, I think that's about it. If there's anything I missed, let me know, or I'll make like a separate video about that, and then maybe I'll make a quick video showing off a little exhibition match of me playing Sin, just to kind of show off what a standard match looks like. So, thanks for staying tuned to this really badly put together guide. It was kind of just a off the top of my head thing, but I hope it helps out. So, until next time.